So this is a question that every homeowner has to answer for themselves, and that's whether to pay off their mortgage early or use the extra cash that they have at the end of the month to invest. Now, the first thing that you have to understand is mortgage debt is not the same as other types of debt. Well, having some financial intelligence, you can't look at all debt the same. Not all debt is the same. There's different interest rates, there's different terms, there's different uses for the debt. So a mortgage is not the same as credit card debt, and which is also not the same as school loans or a car note. They're all different and they all are leveraged in different ways. So with a mortgage, the reason you get a mortgage is because you don't want to pay the full price up front. So you pay interest as the cost for financing. You're using debt to leverage the benefit of not having to pay all that money up front. So what do? You can pay for your other living expenses and also invest, which is the main benefit of a mortgage. You have cash flow to invest at the end of the month. Another thing that you have to think about is the cost of financing versus the benefit of investing. So most mortgages are going to be much lower than the average annual interest that you'll get in the market from investing. So I have a 3% mortgage. It may not be the smartest thing for me to do to hurry up and pay off my mortgage that is at 3% when I can invest with that money and get an annual 9 or 10% in the market. So the spread of that cost to benefit is in favor of investing over paying off the mortgage. Also, think about the term. A mortgage is termed 15 years, 30 years, fixed interest rate. So holding a mortgage means at some point in time, I'm not going to have to pay this interest. Now, when you invest money, that money will continue to get that 9 or 10% annually as long as you have it invested. So you can invest it now. Let's say I have 15 more years to pay off my mortgage. It's going to earn about 9 or 10% for 15 years. And then as long as I keep it in the market, well past the mortgage. So the investing benefit outweighs the benefit of paying off a mortgage for most people. Now, I will say this. Using cash or extra capital to pay off debt is an efficient and effective use of that cash. So this is not me saying one option is good and one option is bad. I'm saying that they're both good options, but one may be better for you than the other. So keep that in mind as I move forward. So there are 3 categories of people who I believe it may be better for them to pay off their mortgage early versus invest with that extra cash. So number 1, we have people who are emotionally impacted by debt. They don't like it. It keeps them up at night, and they are motivated by living a debt-free lifestyle. So it might be beneficial for them to pay off the debt just so that they don't have that emotional strain on them. So that's one type of person. Another one may be an entrepreneur. So some people have a business and their business doesn't have consistent cash flows, maybe seasonal, or maybe they're just in a position where they're honest about their business. They understand that things may be good now, but they may not be good in the future when it comes to the business results. So, hey, paying off this mortgage early, it might help them relieve a lot of pressure off of the business. They can survive a bad year or a bad few years and still stay in business, still stay afloat and fund their lifestyle the way they need to without that mortgage. So that could be a benefit or a situation where someone may want to pay off the mortgage before investing. The third person is, I would say, more of a lifestyle person. People who are close to retirement or have entered into retirement, and it's beneficial to pay off the mortgage and not have that mortgage strain their dividend income, or when they're pulling from their retirement account to fund their retirement, they don't have to worry about that expense. So it makes sense to go ahead and get it off the book, so to speak, and you don't have to worry about dealing with that in the future. Also, someone that just wants a different lifestyle. They may not be nearing retirement, but they don't want to continue to work in their career being busy for the rest of their lives. Maybe they feel like, hey, I can pay off this mortgage, relieve that expense. I don't have to make as much money to live the life I want to live. I can work part-time. I can take a job that may be paying less, but is more in line with my passions, and I can do more, have more flexibility. So the person who just wants a different lifestyle, that may be a person who can benefit from paying off their mortgage versus investing. So this is one thing I do love about investing in finance. There's lots of rules and lots of recommendations, but it all depends on you and your preference. So you can really build the lifestyle that you want and invest the way that you want with your money to fund your personal preference. I will reiterate that I believe that Most people are in a position where they need to invest as much as possible and get that compounding, that snowball effect started so they can have a healthy or happy retirement. So again, using that cash to pay off debt is always a good thing to do. It may not be the best thing to do when it comes to your mortgage versus investing, but it all depends on your preference. So, use these tips or use this information to make the best lifestyle for you that you can.